I've come along to the conference today to learn, to listen, and to hopefully have some input into the future of Northern Ireland. And the way that we can do that is by healing the pains of the past. And I believe that the Victims and Survivors organisation can do that. We have 250 delegates here today that have been given a platform to speak as openly and honestly as they wish to do. One of the big things for me today is the actual definition of what is a victim. I myself believe that every mother's tear weighs the same, be that be a policeman, soldier, a loyalist, or indeed a Republican. And I think we need to get to grips with that, and we need to realise that and leave it in the past. I do believe that it's gone a big step, indeed a leap forward in doing that. I believe there will be more conferences of this nature. Today is a huge amount for us all to absorb, but indeed it's a huge step forward. And I do believe that the document that will be put before the First, indeed Deputy First Minister, will be something of substance that we can move forward, hopefully on the element of the Haas talks that involves the past and victims. My interest in the conference, of course, is very personal to me. Since 1968, I've been a civil and human rights activist. Indeed, I attended the 1968 March on Duke Street, which was about jobs and parity of esteem, all things that we're dealing with today, some 40-odd years on. 4 years ago, yesterday, my nephew, Kieran Doherty, was taken to a hillside outside the city of Derry, where I live. He was stripped naked, he was brutalised, and he was shot to death. As I say, 4 years on, the family had to argue their case that Kieran was a victim. The case that was put before them was because Kieran was an ex-paramilitary prisoner who spent a prison term in the Republic of Ireland in Portlaoise, was not entitled to any compensation. But we fought a case, and the family did get compensation. It wasn't so much the money, which indeed was a pittance when they got it. It was about proving Kieran's innocence. What MI5 had says, what the PSNI had says at the appeal was found to be unfounded, and that's why Kieran got compensated. So for me, it's delving into finding the truth, and hopefully we can do this through the victims and survivors, is finding truth. And that is one of the things that we've talked about today, is truth recovery, I believe we call it. Because without the truth of the past, there's no way we can move forward into a peaceful and shared future. That's what we all want. That's why we're here today.
Well, I think today, is helpful that it brings together a cross-section of people. But, the old nugget, as they say, who is a victim, continues to crop up in each and every workshop. And I suppose I would say that the number of years on from when that definition was first developed in 2006, if it's still being referenced time and time again in 2014, surely that would tell people something, that there is an issue, that it's not a sustainable definition. And we do need to look at that issue in the rounds and understand fully that the ability of choice in this country, people took choice to do what they did, others chose different paths. Obviously today is the focus on the Haas process and where things go from here in many ways. We had been, I suppose, very actively engaged in that over the last number of months. The paper obviously that was presented the 31st December broke down. There are real issues in there that have to be faced up to. And I think the message that needs to go away from today is not that those who are present here today are necessarily supportive of that process, as could be spun. We're here because we want to contribute to making that process better. And the point of the matter is that the Victims Commission's role is to speak on behalf of all victims across Northern Ireland, not to mirror with MDFM policy. And that is the only way that this thing is going to succeed, if they do actually do that. What we would like to see happen today certainly is that this notion of the troubles being focused on a Belfast-centric type of narrative, it needs to be understood that different campaigns were happening in different parts of this country. And the organisation that I represent in Fermanagh, you had 111 deaths in Fermanagh, 99 were carried out by the IRA. 4 IRA members lost their lives in the midst of actions, which left 8 cases. And what we're saying is that's a very, very different set of circumstances to what happened in Belfast. So people need to be cognizant of where everyone's coming from in all of this. And we would say, we're not an organisation would say throw a terrorist or a former terrorist to the wolves and their families. Of course they have to be dealt with, they have to have their mental health needs and everything else serviced. But the absolute, travesty in this country was to equate those individuals with them that were actually wronged. That was wrong. So that needs to be redressed. But we would say the support needs to be given to those families also, because they are citizens of the nation, and that's the nation's responsibility.